Thank you, Tony, and welcome, and good morning, everyone. So, Hobart. Who here has actually been to Hobart, that second oldest, second driest southern outpost? Cool. So, you guys might be familiar with this. Now, bear with me for a moment, because that's a little self-indulgent. It's actually a photo taken from what will be my bedroom. It's a building we're putting up at the moment. It's all of 25-minute walk to the town hall. I put that up there because it highlights something which is unique for Hobart as a capital city, and that is 50% of our 78 square kilometres we're responsible for remains as native bushland. Also, something that's reasonably unique to us is that over 10% of all of our properties are actually heritage listed. But not unique, and probably a characteristic of all local government, is the fact that we are multidisciplined organisations. We're an arm of government that strongly focuses on the doing. So it's an environment where GIS is not the primary focus. In actual fact, it's better to say we are just enablers at best. We do not pick up your garbage, sweep your streets, look after your public gardens, sports fields. We don't run immunisation clinics, and we certainly don't run events like the Taste of Tasmania, nor clean public toilets. It feels like the power of GIS can actually get trapped inside the Bermuda Triangle. So what we're about to do is define this triangle for you, and I'm sure most of you will find some affinity with some parts of it. It's not unique to the council nor local government. And then we're going to go off and show you a couple of examples, a small snippet of what we've been doing with ArcGIS Online and the impact that that's had in the organisation. So first off, there's no easy way to say this. I'll just put it straight out there. Executives and senior managers to whom the concept that everything happens somewhere is completely foreign. They live in not a parallel universe, but another universe. I've yet to find it. Over 30 years, I still get floored by comments like, there's no space for GIS in developing livable cities, that our parking operations don't need GIS, and that a plumbing certificate has no spatial relationship. Well, get a shovel and scrape me off the floor, please. I could spend all day here. Let's move on. I'll move on to this Esri publication. It's 10 years old, certainly written for the American market, but remains recommended reading for local government officials, and as one of them pointed out to me, insomniacs. It does, however, have some pieces of gold in there. One of them is that it points out that in local government, GIS usually starts in some operational area. Planning, engineering, maybe IT. The problem here is it places a distance between those who need information to make decisions and those that have the knowledge of the data and the technical skills to put it together. So, to illustrate this, let me introduce you to the Lord Mayor of Hobart, Alderman Sue Hickey, who's actually on a crusade, many crusades, and one of them is to clean up with the amenity of our public toilets. Now, to her credit, she actually went on a tour of all loos. But before that, she went to her executive assistant and asked for a map. Now, don't try and follow this. This is what the abridged version of what actually transpired. Put your other hat on and think how much that actually cost the council. The result of all that churn, wheel spinning, was that we in the GIS team, tucked out the back there, in a space of 48 hours, were asked for the same thing 7 times. you should have seen the look on the face of number 7 when he came through the door, and we told him, "You're number 7. And by the way, we don't produce apps anymore. We don't produce maps. We produce SAPs, spatial applications." It's one of those times when you wish you had a camera or a GoPro. That's number 2. Number 3 is a little bit more serious. And that is because we're a multidisciplined organisation where people are focusing on issues at hand all the time. They make decisions to suit that particular issue. Now, here's a classic from last century. To enable payment of rates through Australia Post, we needed 2 things. 1, a key identifier. Yep, we have the property identifier. 2 was a security check digit. We had a proprietary system which you could only have 1 field in it. So the rates people make the decision, that's fine. We just take that 7-digit number, it was a text field, add the 8th digit on, and all's fine. Which is the result there. It's no problem for them. The rates could be raised, payments were made, but forget GIS. Every other transaction with property in and out of the organisation now had another layer of complexity to deal with. So that's your triangle. And that's the end of the bad news. Let's do some good news. Change drivers. Outside of all the technical, and that's what we hear about, we talk about the technology, the biggest change that I've seen in 30 years actually comes from open governance. That change really is a challenge to traditionalists, but it's a change in the way we do business. And please note that it says the right to information Act. It's not a privilege anymore. Coupled with that, we have this explosion of web devices, which we all talk about, and the thirst that people have for knowledge and information. Web services that are out there which enable us to deliver. And I must congratulate the list, Land Information Systems Tasmania, for their putting out their base maps, which we consume all the time, and you will see shortly. And of course, this is where ArcGIS Online comes in. It provides us with a low-cost, quick deployment option to get our information out there. So I'm going to give you a snippet, a few examples of how we're using this internally and externally. So first off, we have Crystal. Crystal's a member of that most loved band of council employees. I love her. She gives people invitations to contribute to my salary. She's not doing that at the moment. She's using Collector to do a parking survey, a vacancy survey. We do this between 4 and 16 times a year. Before Collector, it was done on paper. Notepad, clipboard, back in the office spreadsheet. It's 4 to 5 times quicker with this method. We did trial this as a way of doing it, and it would have been 10 times quicker, but we fell foul of an unforeseen complication. Car sickness. And it's not good in the boss's car. Irrespective, we are now giving the parking operations a new view to their information. Something they've never seen before and didn't want. So let's leave parking aside and we'll move on to graffiti. With graffiti, I've got to admit, there are 2 aspects. There's the carrot and the stick. This is about the stick. Kevin and Damien spend all day cleaning graffiti. Now, their boss came to us wanting a quick, easy solution to map where they're working. Yep, right, mobile phone, done. Here we are sitting back waiting to see what training, etc. we need to give them. No. They're in the door straight off saying, you're just giving us location. We want to be able to give you the methods we're using and the time it's taken. Then they thought they were beauticians. They wanted before and after photos. And finally they came back into us and said, no, taggers, we want to be able to name them. Now in Tasmania, The fine for graffiti is usually between $80 to $2,500, and normally someone will get charged whatever they're caught doing. This is where the police love us. Before I came, probably a couple of months ago actually now, the police came to us with a tag. They had a photo. These guys matched it up. They said, oh, by the way, that guy is responsible, that person, for 34 instances over the last 6 months. So the charge went from 1 to 34 counts. You can do the maths on that. So that's what we did internally in terms of operation. When it came time to look at what we wanted to put out in the public domain in terms of web maps, we actually trolled our website to look for opportunities, pages that screamed at us, web map. Then you could have gone down that lovely government process, you know, the one of writing a proposal and a working group and a pilot and consultants, and you get nowhere. We threw that out. We took this approach. This is our new mantra, thanks to Nike. And this is a sample of what we found and have done. Dog exercise areas. If you open that up, you would actually get a link to a PDF that would download. We took that, put it on a geolocation map, give you access to the information. Of all the things we've done, this app is the one which we get the most feedback on. But be aware, you are never going to please everyone. Winston and exercise just don't go. Not a happy boy. If you went and looked at our playgrounds website, once again, you would open up a PDF, 3 pages of it, matrix. So if you can tell me off that, where can I hold a wedding that has shelter that you can take your dog with and a playground? Good luck. What we did was put together an app where you could actually search on the activity and it would show you the available, or it would actually give you, be able to click on a particular site and tell you what activities are available there. We had to do a story map. Waterworks Reserve, once again, 10 minutes out of the city, screened this. Information was spread across about 10 different web pages, some great images that we could actually pull together. And whilst I started with heritage, let's end with it. The new City of Hobart planning scheme actually has 2 components to heritage. One is this, which is heritage precincts, and in the scheme there is individual single-page maps for each of those. There's no overall context, so that's what this gives. And the scheme then also has 80 pages of listings of heritage places, which will be our next project to publish this on the web. I'd prefer to look at that than 80 pages, thank you. So, whilst there's nothing technically brilliant here, nothing that other people aren't doing, the impact in our organisation is profound. First off, we are actually getting now into web. Web deployment or mobile deployment allows us to get into workflows, not just maps. And we're getting into workflows into areas that never thought they belonged in GIS. There is a challenge, and that is dragging information out of different silos of the organisation and bringing it together. But the biggest impact for us happened last March. It's unprecedented in the Hobart City Council, and that is, after showing this and a lot more to our General Manager, we actually sat down with the aldermen. We didn't give a presentation, we actually had a discussion about GIS with them for an hour, or over an hour. That discussion was only stopped because they needed to go and fulfil other commitments. The barrier to that other universe, I won't say has been smashed, but it's definitely been cracked. Now, I've used the word we here in the usual royal fashion. It would be remiss of me not to finish, and not point out that that really means that everything you've seen is the work of Emily, Martina and Roy. And they will tell you that that means, or it's code for, don't ask Mark technical questions. Enjoy Esri, thank you.